This is Daf Lamed Hay of the Yerushalmi Peah, according to the article Oz Harder edition. And we got down to the two dots, the third line down yesterday. In the Vilna, that it is on Chaf Amud Beis, and it starts Balabais. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 lines to the bottom. Last little red line. Balabais Shkoro Shem Peah. Vakila, and finished. He doesn't pay, and then he finished off his field. He violates the law of do not destroy the corner of the field when you harvest. The Ridbaz here, Shloka Darko provides kind of like a running commentary. He says, "Ba'abai shkor shem peah v'kilo korani alav lo tchale peah v'chule perush v'avar kili peah." He was over kili peah. What happens? Lo kro shem peah kilo. What happens if he just says more? What happens if he didn't was kor shem peah and he was cut down his whole field? Korani alav lo tchale peas sodcha bekutzrecha. I also to say about him, so the Ridbaz says that this is a different nisser. He says Perush v'avar al kilui sadeh came Perush b'shno solio. So the pasuk says lo chaleh pe'as sadcha. So the first lap, if you read designate pe'as, according to the Ridbaz and evidently the Gra, is lo chaleh pe'as. And if you didn't designate the peah, it's los chale pas sodcha. You're over in the sodcha. The Kavanaki brings down a I don't know if it's a different girsa, but no. He brings it. He brings it. Says that it says here the beginning of the pasuk. But the end of the pasuk is laniv lager tazob sam, and he says that you're over on mitzvah saseh. And you went over on a lav. The lav is only if you designate peah, and now we learn from the Breisha lo los peah sodcha b'kutzrecha. But if you didn't say peah and you cut down the field, okay, you didn't violate a law, but you violated that say of laniv lager tazob sam, which is a cute shot, and I'd be more happy if there was a gear so that effect. He knew by name. So afilu kain ain't shomim lohem el ba ba'isi chalak biyado. So this is from our Mishnah. It says that they say they want to first come first serve by a dolis and deco, and we said we don't listen to them, right? We take it down, but take it down and then distribute it. So that seems to be the Pashup shot, but the Ridbaz says that it's talking about Hidnim Menem, Filke and Shomel and Persha Groza, Bashosio Shaba Baisi Noy Maniim, Shiahua Mechubar, Ritenla Macherim Betolush. Totally shot. That he'll take what's connected to the ground and he'll give them stuff which is plucked from the ground. So it's not Didolis and Deco, it's by regular grain or anything. He made a Tanai in the opposite direction of normal, that it won't leave Peah in the field, he's going to give them Peah, and he'll take what's left in the field. So we don't listen to that, of course. Either way, Ba'abais has to according to the Ridbaz, according to the Gra, Tevas Ella Machak Bagroza, B'Ksavia Kodsho Yerushalmi Shatachas Yodi, V'Nike Kan Shtei Nekudos, and he took out the word Ella, and he put two dots here. I don't know if I ever saw that. It's called that. Beis Nekudos. What do we call that in the Hebrew? The two dots. I don't remember. Nekudotayim. Anyway, Laroshu and Yechodosh to show it's a new discussion. But Kamas and this is going on in the Mishnah. Only this part. Rabbi Smechalik Anim. Farish Gemara, the was explained the Hainu Mechalik Biyadov, and that the Gemara is coming to say that he has to distribute it by hand and equally, and not just toss it in front of them. Okay, so the what's my picture here? 1 second. Yeah. Why is that? So Shema Yel Ani Midaito B'Yashlich Lefanov. Because he might decide that this ani I'm going to give, and he's going to distribute to that person. Therefore, and that's tossing it in front of them. He might end up tossing them in front of one person because he favors that person. Therefore, he said no, just distribute it evenly. Yashul Panav. So the Bas says it's Samachlo, near the ani he wants to designate, right? So again, Shema Yir La Ani Bidaitoi is going to see an ani which he wants to give it to. Yashul Panav is going to cast it in front of that person. Rabbi Shmuel Bar Abdullah Boy, Rabbi Shmuel he stated, I don't think it's a question. Kila Sadeu, when he destroys the entire field, didn't leave Peah. Atamar Chazer Peah Amorim. So then you say that he has to get Peah from the sheaves of grain. So, here's a question. Kila Sadeu, Atamar Chazer Peah Amorim. Okay, what happens now? If you came by biyodo, no, it's not a question, it's a statement. If you came by biyodo, Shema Yerani L'Daitim Yashul Vara. So saying with Amorim, as long as the only time we let the Aniyim come and first come first serve, take randomly, is when they're taking from what's still sticking to the ground. But if you're distributing, either because it was high up, or because it's already in the Amorim, the same thing, you have to distribute it equally and not, or it shouldn't come to favorite one of the Aniyim. Halacha base. Not a mixas peah. You took a little bit of peah, the ani, v'zarka shar, and you toss it on other peah in order to claim it. Ein lo klum. He loses what he originally gathered as a knas, a punishment. He wasn't kona what he tossed it on. Nafal aleh, if he fell on a certain peah, upiers till he spreads tiles in order to claim it. No, we don't have anything to find him with, but we remove him from it. This is true also by the other matnos from the field of leket, the stalks which fall from the hands of the harvesters, and a sheaf which is left in the field. Says Martani b'shem Meir, Kotzi Mosel Motzim Mimenu Es HaTlush Mechubar. Like we just said, we find him, we take away from him both the Tolush and the Mechubar. Akadun Meizin. Okay, that's if he deliberately did this bad thing. Shogeg. What's a shogeg? So that's if you learn it that way, this question not resolved. But it could be that it means, and that's probably I think the way way to read it, although because that's where the Pnei Moshe says that by it's lo ibshita. The question is asked and not resolved. But you could theoretically read it that I could do mazid. No, shogeg also. It's more likely by lo ibshita. Va'afilu kricho. Afilu kricho. And even if he tossed his own his own sheaves. Take the Pnei Moshe says, "Krichos kamar filu asani mina peah shulaka." I mean, he took from the peah that he gathered or the leket he gathered legitimately. Krichos, he made them into bundles or marim. Came high. I might say that since he went to such a big tircha, menu. We don't take away that sheaf which he tossed on the peah. Therefore, it tells that even under such circumstances, we find him, menu, we take away from him, and you're not saying ani achen should be given to another ani. B'Shem Abba Kohen Bartolo said, this is well, let's see. Okay, you'll see why I'm smiling. Um, Rav Shimon Shem Abakon Bartolo says, Adam Zochel Chavero. And here, if you take a look at the Rebaz, he says, Rav Shimon Shem Abakon Bartolo says, Adam Zochel B'Dalet Amos B'Mitzia. Okay, so assuming it's supposed to the Chavero can also work. Adam Zochel Chavero B'Dalet Amos. And that is, in fact, what it says in the Yerushalmi in Bava Metzia. So it is probably the correct Yerusha, which actually has the Bava Metzia as well. So therefore, it makes sense. My timer. What pasuk teaches us this? I prepared in my the poverty to the house of God, Zahav Kikarayim, 2 kikar of Zahav, Zahav Kikarim Mea, 100 kikarim Zahav, Mea Elef, 100,000. The Kesef Elef, Alofim Kikarim, and the silver, thousands upon thousands of Kikarim, Choshes Barasel, Emishko, and no limit of metal and of copper and of iron. This is, I believe it's David HaMelech saying that he prepared all this for the building of the Beis HaMikdash. Yes, that's what Moshe says, and that he's telling him what supplies he's gathered over time. And I also prepared sticks and stones. And you should add to them. The interesting. So how do we learn from this pasuk? So in Bava Metzia, I have it in my margin. I wrote in Bava Metzia the name of Shaul Lieberman. I don't think you mentioned Shaul Lieberman until now. Shaul Lieberman was a big time chacham. Unfortunately, became later in life the chancellor of Jewish Theological Seminary, Conservative Seminary in New York. But he was a big time chacham, and he remained Shomer Shabbos despite the position that he took. So his works in the Yerushalmi, his famous work in the Sefta, are very, very brilliant. Sometimes he has very, very interesting insights, or good, outstanding insights. So here also, he says that it brings down from the Yalkut in Rus. The Yalkut in Rus says that David was Zeiche to these riches, he was able to acquire them to these riches with the matonos that he got from the Bnos Yisrael after he killed Goliath. And they tossed things at him. They tossed gifts at him. And how did he acquire these gifts, which he tossed them? He acquired them at King Dalal Ramos. Fascinating Yalkut. Kavanaki says that he conquered these raw materials in war and gave the Tzarka Binyan Beis HaMikdash. What he said by Ani, so they want to be medayik from the word Ani, for that Ani seems to say that it's not a Kinyan, right? He didn't make a true Kinyan to acquire this. He did it in the poor way, which there's Kinyan Arba Amos. Okay, the Yalkut in Rus is a very very powerful find. And of course, the Ridbaz and the Mitaisis Read has a great talks about a great length. The main Moshe seems to be saying that they weren't in his hands. Obviously, that's be. I don't know. The main Moshe is complicated. Let's get the main Moshe out of this. Okay, Rabbi Yonah Amar Rabbi Yoshia boy. Rabbi Yonah Amar Rabbi Yoshia asked, "Manakai, what are you talking about? Even took out amos usher. If it's within his 4 amos, so can't give himself an ani. He's rich, right? Chutz arba amos, and if it's outside arba amos, so then it's not his. Yesh makdish double sheno shalo. The person we makdish something which is not his. Vikimnua, and we sustained it, but makdish rishon. So that's the kind of, that it was makdish each thing as it came to his Dawud Amos. So that's a shtickle mashma, actually not like Lieberman, now that I'm thinking about it, but that actually it is something to do intrinsically with this pasuk, and that somehow by kibush milchama he acquired it by Dawud Amos, and as he got each thing within his Dawud Amos, he was makdish it. There's even a rush in the Durham which says that you can be kind of hefker ba'abota and be makdish it. But this is certainly much Dawud Amos is more significant if that works. He brings down the Rosh here in the Gillian Ashas. Yesh makdish davar I'm Rosh Nedarim Lam Dalam Beis Mashkas Shem Arain. Teikatein Acher Samachla Elahu Yochel Lavkir Ulakdish Afilu Chutz Dawud Amos. Even we sees it, but the problem is that in Cain Lo Muchach Mikamite. So they wouldn't prove Dawud Amos from here. Miu came when Shekan Rotel is Kozba here, but here since you want to be Zachan to be who Makdish. So he should be the makdish. Dawud Amos. That's when he passes within Dawud Amos. By Mechoshe Mishnah Simin Reishud Beis. By Bashach Shom. Avo be'emes ze ein svara klau. The kol she biyad liskos atzmo makdisho l'shamayim oven mitzvah shleimusa. First, the Gilui Shas would say, okay, you want to do the mitzvah b'shleimus, and therefore you don't want to rely on seeing it. Want to get in Dawud Amos. But the Gilui Shas says, but that doesn't make any sense. If you want to makdish it chutz Dawud Amos, so therefore then it shouldn't be a problem that it shouldn't be any less than of a mitzvah. Mil shita sureim, but according to Reim Makon Lamar, they came with ein acher samuch yochel iskos apil chutz Dawud Amos apelo agba ukach chala hekdesh. Right, that's in Cain shapir yikshe oshiru kamo toch Dawud Amos. Okay, well, it's still be difficult according to Reim, which we can call an oshir. Amnam akati kosher lefi mashkasa ransham chen nakar kikar hefker came shikdish guy daitlo nicholas. All right, it goes on and discusses this at great length. Not for us for today, but the bottom line is that there is such a kinyan which an alternative to Dawud Amos, but for some reason the Argamar perhaps doesn't hold like the Rosh there in the Dorim. Argamar holds that he had to get an Dawud Amos in order to be makdish it. So the Bikimnu b'makdish rishon, right? And so the answer is that he was zoiche. Again, the table when me was makdish it, and Moshe says even if we didn't hold the king arba amos, that would still be the pshat here, and it's not going on because the Matanos never came into his hand, according to Lieberman. You would say that the Matanos, which these women tossing him, he was merely makdish them. Same principle. So either it's talking about somehow we acquired this gold and silver. He was makdish, acquired through Dawud Amos because he didn't buy it. He got it by kibush. Although Kenyan kibush also. Mazanasli Dawud Amos, but okay, he got through Dawud Amos, and he was makdish immediately, so he still called on. According to the Yalkut, those things which the Benosi saw through him, he was makdish immediately when they came to his Dawud Amos, and therefore he was never an osher. Rabbi Yavun said a more pashup shot in the pasuk. Ma'u bani, what does it mean? My poverty. She'ein Hashir's name Misha Eva Amar V'Holams. Who says the Pnei Moshe, you should not take glory in riches. Leave name Misha Amar V'Holam. Shakol Shelo. Everything belongs to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So a little bit of chutzpah to portray himself as rich. Another interpretation. Bani Shayam Is'aneh Makdish Suz Daso L'Shamayim. He fasted and he was makdish his suda to Shamayim, although it's Obviously, it's Moshe says there has to be a sudas malachim, and he was not mitzvah just for himself, but he probably was mitzvah saying for everybody, and therefore he had the money then to give to the Beis Hamikdash. Otherwise, it's very difficult to see how just because David HaMelech fasted, he actually got enough money together for that purpose. Okay, says more further. Hey, so Rabbi Yaakov Bar Idi, Bnei Moshe says, Kumi Rabbi Shimon Lakish instead of B'Shem. He asked from Rish Lakish, V'atin did we learn Ra, some Mitzvah B'Nafal left, some sees the Mitzvah and falls, and another person comes in Mizmaxik the Mitzvah, Zeshich Zigba Zachaba. The guy who's Maxik will hold it to the honor to Zocher. While the first guy fell in Zocher and Arba Amos. Amar Lei, so he said Tipotin is in the Bible as well, because Kshallah Amar Yiskuli Arba Amos Shali. He didn't say the 4 amos, my 4 amos should be zoicha to me, and therefore he didn't have in mind to do kindan amos. And kindan amos only works if it's if it's done consciously and deliberately. The Kavanaki has a discussion based on the lush in the Gemara here. Is it indeed that he has to say out loud dalar amos? Or is it enough that he has das to be Zoich and Dalar Amos? It's masha, he has to actually make a pronouncement. But Tani says more, didn't we learn enough appears to Usaleh? Ma'avirin oso mimeno, same, similar case. He, and also the same thing. Shalom, I used to be Dalar Amos Shali. When he didn't say, I want my Dalar Amos to be Zoich. But Tani Rabbi Chia, Shnaim Shim Miskatshim al Hamud. Two people were fighting over one of the Omorim, one of the sheep in the field. And a third oni came. It was obviously Shikha, and Chadful leaf name, and he seized it from before them. Zachabo. So again, Orik Shalom Yitzkuli Arba Amos Shali. But he didn't say my 4 amos should be Zoicha for me, and that's why he loses it in that case as well. And that brings us to the doesn't say Shali in the article, only says Shali in the Vilna. But in any event, it brings us to the 4th line, and so we'll stop here.